Alright, let's jump right into Drop Therapy's Binary Rebirth, our first request review from a viewer. This is his own fully self-produced album, so this should be fun. And the concept behind the album is pretty interesting, and that alone made me want to hear this album. This is the story, straight from Drop Therapy himself. This album takes place shortly after the stigma. Shortly after waking up from the coma, you realize that you are a piece of test code for a virtual reality application, and will be deleted very soon. Your entire life up to this point was a simulation. The rest of the album is spent grieving over the loss of yourself. Alright. Now let's jump in, starting with track 1, Lucidity Fallen. Shock does just that. Shocks the listener into the album, birthing them into the realization that you will be deleted soon. And Denial picks up the pace in that revelation, with a nice drum beat that kicks in and electronic sounds start going crazy and make the song even more hectic, and it begins. Nice intro to the rest of the album. Track 2, System Startup. Rage kicks off the next set of 2 songs, and it's pretty cool. From the nice industrial sounding guitar riff that plays almost all throughout this track, to the crazy sounding MIDI keys flying around in the background. Kinda reminds me of something I'd hear from Rob Zombie, to be honest. Just a little more electroed up. At around the 4-minute 58 mark, Among the Fried Connections kicks in, and switches the mood up a bit, sounding cavernous and eerie, like if you're searching for an exit or losing your way. And then the Rage riff comes in at the end to seal off this second section of songs. Pretty sick section, I must say. Love the riff from Rage. And Among the Fried Connections is a nice switch up. Track 3, Chapter 1, Vertigo. Starting off with a nice piano piece, Stay Calm soothes the character, keeping him calm, but near the end of the song, the drums for Relapse start to kick in, and the song goes back into what sounds like the character going down a hole or falling or something. And Stay Calm gets repeated in the middle of Relapse, but in the form of a distorted riff. And then it goes into Welcome to Digital Hell, with the hellish, metallic industrial sound that creeps into the next song, Panic, with a bass sound that is distorted and phasing all over. Then it starts to calm down a bit, but then keys come in sounding spooky, with distorted keys in the background keeping the beat and following suit with Vertigo. A nice sounding song, kinda reminded me of something I'd hear at an arcade while playing a side-scroller, or maybe a shoot-'em-up. Nice ending to a really crazy track. Track 4, Chapter 2, Bargaining. A quiet plead starts off track 4, or Chapter 2, Bargaining. With a nice piano being offset against a drum beat, it's a real nice lead-in to a forceful beg, which has a nice bass kicking in near the middle of the song, which I enjoyed a lot. Easing the Pain comes in on a bassy lead-in and with a nice atmospheric sound, ending with the piano being slowed until it sounds like it'll just fucking die, which I think it does. Nice set of songs in this track. Track 5, Chapter 3, Prelude, featuring Tokyo Anti. Bottled Up Emotions opens up Chapter 3 with a sick bass and busts into shattering rage with a distorted scream near the middle of the track that caught my ass off guard. Peace and Relaxation, right, is next, and it has a nice ambience to it, amid the crazy off-kilter beat it has, which I guess is to be expected given the title. It's soothing, but it has that air of uncertainty, which is really cool to listen to. Add in some snaps, and yeah, it's nice and soothing. Until Wrong kills all that nonsense with its crazy sounding scratching beat and nice use of keys, as subtle and minimal as they are. And then it leads into Stress and Anxiety. Okay, the piano gives that air of ominous dread pretty good, and the bass is quick paced, and the underlying keys playing chords against the madness is interrupted by a video film from 2005. Damn, that scratching that opens and ends a poem hidden in plain sight is just, no man, no. Track 6, Chapter 4, Depression. Huh, not a bad way to open up Chapter 4. A remix of 9 Inch Nails' song Only. And to be honest, it sounds a bit better than the original, even using the beat from the original. But this remake makes it sound a lot more raw and menacing and just not happy, which fits the title of Chapter 4 really well. From Only we go into Sane to an extent. Opening up with the NES sounding opening, it leads into a case of self-loathing, which adds on to Sane to an extensive instrumentation, which then leads into Empty, bassy and with keys backing the track. Okay, a lot of keys. Add in a distorted guitar, some drums, and a blast from some keys to enter Trapped Beyond Visibility. A mostly piano-led bass and drum track that has a nice vibe, and with a nice distorted guitar at the end of it. Track 7, Chapter 5, Testing. Chapter 5 Testing is opened up with a buzz lost in the pipes, with a sax opening the track and setting a beat down. sounding empty and desolate. Then session 1 kicks in with glitchy sounds following the sax. Drums kick in and lead off session 2, with the sax and glitchy sounds still lingering, setting an almost trancey vibe to this song. There Is No One Here, Be Free has a sort of relaxed feel to it, before leaving the forest of wires and electricity comes in and destroys your mind. This song has a feeling of being insane, or like the title suggests, being tested on. Like if memories are being simultaneously lived and destroyed in an instant. A crazy way to end Chapter 5. Track 8, Chapter 6, Acceptance. From insanity to a quiet moment, literally, with the sound of nature bringing back your marbles and making you feel like you still have a foothold in this world. This song consists of nothing but the sound of nature rolling in. Rolling in from the distance is Sanity Regained, with a somber bass lead in. The sounds of nature from a quiet moment still lingering. The song builds slowly until you start to hear keys in the distance, coming ever closer until Binary Rebirth, swimming in the code, giving you the vibe of discovery but also a sense of dread. This song is cool. I like the phasing voice effect, and the fact that Sanity Regained is still in the background keeping a constant beat. The Cursor Is Near builds the phasing voices to a crescendo until the next set of tracks arrive, starting with track 9, Shutting Down. Slipping Away has some nice echoey effects, and a descending key being played in the background through the entire song, giving the auditory illusion to the listener the feeling of the character falling as well. And finally we end with Deletion, which is just that. Poof. You're gone. It even has a little ding. Well, I never thought I would have enjoyed that as much as I did, but yeah, what a hell of an album. From It Begins until Deletion, I gotta say I was hooked. Rage made me excited for the next tracks, and different moods and different beats and genres mixed and matched from industrial to nu metal to avant-garde is pretty cool. Leaving the forest of wires and electricity made me go temporarily mad, but in a good way. This music gave me soundscapes for sure, and the moods of some of these, like the tracks in Bargaining and Depression, are somber, eerie, and just plain awesome. So I usually do a list of my personal favorites and all that, but seeing as these tracks are split into different sections, I'll list my favorite as follows. Or in this case, favorites. Nice selection of favorites, I think. And some of these tracks just sound amazing. Some of them. Not all these tracks are going to be standouts. Like A Poem Hidden in Plain Sight, I know that's a small track at only 20 seconds, but it's 20 seconds of noise I just can't stand. And the whole of the testing track is something I just couldn't get into, even with the sax. Sorry. But all in all, I enjoyed this album. I honestly thought I was going to be bored listening to this, but I was proven wrong. The music on here is definitely influenced by Nine Inch Nails, and it shows with the remix of Only, as well as some Rob Zombie or even Rammstein. This one is definitely my kind of weird. I give this album a 7.5 out of 10. Kinda on the fence because of the sort of weak testing track, and A Poem Hidden in Plain Sight on Prelude is just no. So thanks for watching, and what would you like reviewed next? Maybe a movie? Some games? How about some anime? Leave a comment and I'll definitely get back to you. With that said, thanks for watching, and as always, peace.